Hey there, Shank, everybody. Welcome back for another amazing episode. Well, today, with myself, we have Moby Sadiq. We should be having Mufti Bilal also coming up. Today's show is going to be one that's super informative and super valuable. Remember, this is the show after the public sale. So there's going to be a lot of information that's coming out, new information. And as always, Moby comes up with this fantastic market update. But before we get started, Moby, what's going on? How are the kangaroos? Are they hopping? What's going on?
They're good, man. They're good. They're not as good as you, though. After these Marhaba gains, 3x, 4x, now you have a dowry ready. So, inshallah, now hopefully we'll hear wedding bells. I mean, do we have wedding bells in Islam? But whatever the halal wedding drums, inshallah, now we're going to hear those. So, I'm very, very, I know you've been dying to get a wife. So, I'm very happy for you.
Um, yeah, I think my meher. I have my meher now. So anybody interested, whoever is interested, I will give you meher in crypto. I'll give you some marhaba tokens, inshallah.
Is that going to be your meher
Yeah,
when you get married? When you get married, it's like, what will you be giving my daughter? I'm going to give her 500,000 Merhaba tokens. It's not a bad idea, man. It's actually pretty good.
I think 1 million marhaba tokens right now would be too expensive. I'm not willing to give up that much allocation. um, No, I made a video about this. I think on TikTok, I was probably one of the first people that talked about this and was like, we should start thinking about the concept of meher being given out in crypto because, in long term, crypto might be a great way of, value. The whole thing of meher is a form of financial protection, right? So that could be a really good way of making long term growth for somebody's assets and a fantastic meher. I know a brother who actually said that he bought an Ethereum very cheap and then he gave that as his meher. He's like, technically, my meher was an investment that I did a long time ago, which is super cheap for me. And then I gave up, I think it was Ethereum's. And so it's just very funny. So, yeah, I mean, there might be an opportunity here. Anywho, more importantly, New Year's, what's going on? What's your New Year's resolution? Moby, what are you doing for this new year, upcoming new year?
Man, that's a very good question. You putting me on the spot here, but I always sort of talk about like there's like 4 or 5 areas in your life, right? You got to focus on like your spiritual goals for the year. So trying to pray 5 times a day, trying to read a little bit of Quran every day,
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurial goals, education goals, physical goals as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm a white belt in jiu-jitsu. Inshallah, I'll get my blue belt this year. So I want to do some competition and spending some time with my family. So, and really, honestly,
Uh-huh.
looking back, and this is actually a really, really good episode, guys. Like, it's going to be a little bit different. Like on the crypto side as well. I think we've had a good year. Alhamdulillah, Merhab has gone off to a fantastic start
Alhamdulillah.
as well. Um, but yeah, man, really, really excited. I think nothing really trumps completing half your religion, your deen. So I'm really excited to be invited to your wedding. But yeah, man, apart from that, what can I say?
For that, I need to first find the right person. But anywho, my this year's new resolution is actually, as you said, there's various aspects of your life, and you should be making goals for them. And I have this philosophy that there should be an aspect of daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, long-term goals also. So I would say my this year's goal as a whole would be to focus a little more on religion and myself in that regards, um, and work towards building this project into something that we've all been pushing for on the team and yourself. And so struggle with that and struggle with my struggle means like work and put my efforts in with my also my personal work that I'm doing on the side with think log grow rich and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to be focusing on. But as you said, priority is getting closer with your Lord and then getting closer with your Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So that's my year goal, and inshallah, make dua that we achieve it. All right, let's get this thing started. Moby, market update. What's going on? Is it a bull market? Is it a bear market? Are we gonna all die? Are we all gonna go super high? What's going on? Tell us.
Yeah, no, great question. And obviously, I wanted to do this episode a little bit different. This is recording the 3rd of January, the first episode of the year. So it's going to be a little bit different. Like, usually, I bring to you the latest news of the week, so the fundamentals and some technical
Mm-hmm.
analysis as well. So I'm going to do that. But really, I guess what I want to talk about is like the roadmap or the game plan for the year. Now, before I sort of get into that, keep in mind, guys, if you guys are subscribers, and I know a bunch of you guys are, we look at your comments, we read your comments, we really appreciate what you guys have done. It really motivates us, and I mean that. It motivates us to come back week in, week out and do this for you. So thank you so much. Please, please, please subscribe, like, comment if you haven't done already. But anyway, we've been saying to you guys, for all of December, that don't be surprised if we have an end of year sell-off by institutional buyers. But maybe I didn't explain sort of why, so really, like in the traditional equities world, it's very normal to have an end of year sell-off because, like, for example, say they had 5% of their investments in crypto. And at the end of the year, that 5% became 10%. So now they have to rebalance. And actually, it's a really good lesson for us as well, because like rebalancing on a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, sometimes a yearly basis is not a bad idea, like reallocating, taking profits at the right time. So the point is, they need to do that because they need to show their clients profits. But we've spoken about this before. It's no secret that institutions are investing in Bitcoin. They have it on their balance sheets. So fundamentally, Bitcoin looks really, really good. But I guess I'll just share my screen here. What I really want to get into is, of course, like, the roadmap for 2022, right? What are the key trends? What's the narrative? And a lot of this kind of follows on from a lot of the episodes we've spoken about before. But I'm just sort of sharing my screen. As I sort of kick into the first one thing I do want to be sort of mindful of is, even though now that we actually have had the start of the year start and you will start seeing, crypto getting back on balance sheets and in the portfolios of institutional investors, don't be surprised if we do see a soft start to 2022. And I'll explain why. So I did a lot of research, coming into this episode because I wanted to do this a little bit differently and look at a lot of the fundamentals and even what actually has caused the last few dips, right? So why I sort of say we're going to have a soft start is the money supply is already reducing. So what am I talking about here? So the US Reserve, as we sort of know since 2018, has been printing and printing and printing, right? And that traditionally is actually very good for equities markets, and equities markets is a share market. You might say, why do I care about that? It's a crypto show. Well, it's good for crypto as well. Even though, we hate to sort of admit it, unfortunately, crypto is still tied to the equity world. It's still tied to the share market. So when there is excess money in the market, that is very bullish for crypto. So anyway, the US Federal Reserve commenced what they call tapering. If you're interested in this sort of stuff, Google tapering, look into it. It's very, very interesting. They commenced tapering in November 2021, so just 2 months ago, to combat the 6 to 7% inflation rates that we've spoken to you guys about. Now, keep in mind, their targets are usually 2% inflation. So 6 to 7, it's at that level where they can't ignore it anymore. All these people are going to get voted out. People are going to have rights on their hands. They're seeing the cost of goods, milk, fuel, everything go up. So this is something that is the microscope is now on. And like I said, equities and crypto are still unfortunately correlated. And this article by Wall Street Journal, just I think yesterday or the day before, shows that stocks and equities are facing a rockier path in 2022 as the Fed rate increase looms. So what that's also talking about is the potential interest rate increase as well, which isn't traditionally good for crypto. When the interest rate goes up, the cost of money goes up. There's less surplus money out there in the market, and that isn't always good for crypto. Now, this screen here that I'm sort of showing, it's showing the Fed tapering in November and doubled the tapering rate in December. So what do I mean by that? So in November, they announced that they were going to start tapering. They were going to start lowering the amount of bonds they were buying back. Really, I guess what I'm trying to say is, not to get too complicated, is they were lowering the money supply, right? So they're not getting rid of it, but just reducing the amount of increase. And then in December 15th, they actually said, no, we're going to reduce that from 15 billion to 30 billion. We're going to almost double, or literally we are going to double the rate of reduction of money supply in the market. Now, let's kind of bring that closer to home a little bit, right? Let's talk about crypto here. Now, on my screen here, I've got just a chart, and this is a chart we've been speaking about before, the bullish zone for Bitcoin. You can sort of see here on that long-term trend line of 2021, we've actually fallen below it, and now technically we're in neutral territory. Here, I've kind of drawn a little rectangle to kind of show you guys. We hit our all-time high in November, the start of November at 69,000. You saw the Fed beginning their tapering in December, and you see this huge kind of drop. And then again, Fed doubles their tapering from 15 billion to 30 billion. So you see this continual drop and now consolidation. So it is not a long bow to stretch to say that, this is going to impact, if not already impacted, the Bitcoin price. Now, the next sort of, I guess the next reason or rationale for my hypothesis here is Bitcoin dominance is at its lowest level since 2018 at 40%. Now, in that same period, Ethereum has almost doubled its dominance from 12.8 to 20.3%. And one positive sort of sign of this, it is showing that we are sort of seeing altcoins break free from Bitcoin's influence. We've said this in the past, and this is still the case. When Bitcoin goes up 5%, altcoins can go up 20, 30, 40%. But, and you'll see this very, very soon, and if you've been following the show, you would have seen this, is there has been sectors in the market that are breaking free from Bitcoin. And this is coming at a time where Bitcoin dominance is at all-time lows. Now, the 40% resistance point for Bitcoin is very, very strong resistance, and a dip below that, however, could indicate a stronger alt season ahead and Bitcoin further consolidating, maybe even the price even falling a little bit more. Now, all in all, what's the net of that? Well, more of a tempered start to 2022, the less money in the market. The fear and greed index as of right now is either at extreme fear or at fear right now. It all stands for sideways action of Bitcoin 3 to 6 months. So again, trends and hypotheses and predictions are valid until they're not. But what we are sort of seeing is, what I would say is, don't be surprised if you do see sideways action for 3 to 6 months. And again, this is not something to worry too much about. Bitcoin did rally really, really, really high. I don't think we're going to go down to, the 90% drops, the 80% drops that we've seen. If we do fall, we may get to 30,000, but I don't think that's going to happen. So it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Now, what does that mean? Like when I talk about the breakaway and, certain altcoins breaking away. If you guys have been following me on Twitter and listening to this show, you would have heard us talk about layer ones, right? And layer zeros leading the trend. Now, this is a tweet I shared, I think, a couple of days ago. And I've just been noticing, the last few weeks, right? Bitcoin either staying at 47, dropping to 46, just kind of hovering, just consolidating. And layer ones like Oasis Protocol, Cosmos, Avalanche, like Aurora, which is linked to Cosmos, Terra Luna, of course. All of these, layer ones doing really, really well. And if there is a sector right now that feels like it's breaking away from Bitcoin, it is the layer one sector. And I mean, maybe it's common sense, but it's technology. I always sort of say layer ones you got to consider as technology, not just a cryptocurrency, things that are being built on, things that DeFi is being built on. So I guess for the rest of this kind of presentation, I want to talk about, two to three. Oh, we'll see. I've already forgotten. I think it's three key layer ones of interest that I'm looking at, right? And like I said, this isn't sort of like, okay, what's happening this week, next week, last week. I'm talking about fundamentals here a little bit and entry points as well for a longer term narrative of at least the first half of 2022. Anyway, the first layer of interest I'm looking at is Terra Luna. So the Terra Luna total value locked has skyrocketed. Now, this shocks me when I look at it. Like, Ahmed, if you remember the first time I brought up the DeFi Llama chart, Solana was like at 14 billion, right? And it was like sitting at third or fourth. And Terra Luna was like not even double-digit billions, right? It is now it is actually jumped past Solana, jumped past Avalanche, jumped past Binance as well in terms of total value locked, which is astonishing. Like, maybe some of you guys aren't as excited as me, but guys, this is astonishing. Binance, BNB had number 2 for a really long time. So for Terra Luna to kind of eclipse that and do so in such strong fashion is nothing to sort of look lightly on. And again, when you sort of think about it this way, Terra Luna is still like a 9th or maybe 10th ranked coin right now. Solana is 5th ranked. So in terms of value for money, maybe Terra Luna. But continuing with Terra Luna, I mean, the reason why, just so you guys understand why it is so strong, is because of its fundamentals, how they actually how like the UST, their stablecoin, and Luna work hand in hand. Now, I'm sharing this kind of diagram here, not to get too detailed, but essentially what you guys need to understand is the UST coin is an algorithmic based stablecoin. It's not like USDC or USDT, right? It's not backed by American dollars, although it is pegged to the American dollar. It's algorithmic, and essentially what happens is more demand that you have for UST, so the Terra Luna stablecoin, they actually burn Luna. They actually burn Luna. So, and when you think about the UST right now, it's eclipsed DAI even. We talk about DAI, right? And I think it's now the third or fourth highest used stablecoin right now. You got USDT, you got USDC. I don't know what number 3 is, but it's the lowest. USD, fine. The lowest it is.
BUSD.
Oh, BUSD, right? BUSD.
Yeah.
Is fourth, and don't be surprised if it takes third position as well. So that's something to understand about Terra Luna. They've got a very, very strong ecosystem. They have got also the lending that they've got going on right now. And again, I'm not talking about the Sharia compliance of that, but what it does mean is, it's very, very strong fundamentally. It's very difficult to crash that. But at the same time, it does mean though, and I think I got this on my next slide, it does mean though, if the demand for UST rather drops, then what they need to do is actually create more Luna to keep that stablecoin pegged, right? So to have that stablecoin stable, they need to actually create more Luna if there's less demand for UST, which then reduces the price of Luna as well. So do I think that's going to happen? Yes, I do. I've got this screen here, Luna entry levels. Obviously, we've had this huge rally right now. I've got 5 levels. I've got what I'm calling the FOMO level, right? So the FOMO hodl level, if you're sort of like, look, I'm not really interested in watching these coins. I just want to know whether it's a good coin. Moby, I've understood that it is. Then I'd say that level is $85, right? So it's about $5 off as of current prices today. But I would say that the levels I'd be looking at to buy, me personally, would be at 75, 65, and if it's 45, then you've got Eid all of a sudden, right? Like you're you're cheering at 45. So they're the levels that I'd be looking at for Terra Luna. Questions on that, Ahmed, before I move forward?
No, I followed what you said, and I agree with it.
Awesome. I'll keep going. So the next layer 1 of interest is Near Protocol, right? So on the fundamental side, it's looking really, really bullish. So speaking of Terra actually will be integrating its stablecoin onto the Near network, because the Near network doesn't have its own stablecoin. This is really, really bullish for Luna as well, but it's also really, really bullish for Near, because if you guys have been listening to our last few shows, the coins that have been doing well, like AVAX and Luna, they're the ones that have interoperability. They're leveraging off other coins. And unfortunately, and even though Solana is one of my favorites, it's still in my top 3 of holdings right now. And the only reason why it dropped from second to third is because of, marhaba, alhamdulillah, is because it hasn't done that job as well as AVAX. It hasn't done that job as well as Near and Luna, like that interoperability play. It's really kind of created its own island. And I think that should change. I think that needs to change. I hope it does change. But that's what slowed Solana down a little bit right now. And anyway, so the other thing too I need to talk about is, one thing you can look at Solana is the thing that made it grow. I know Solana gets attacked for VCs and, so-called centralized blockchain. Well, when you look at why Solana grew, it was because of VCs. It was because of the amount of money coming in. We're seeing the same thing replay with Near right now. Near has an $800 million war chest. 800, like that's $1 billion. Like that's $1 billion Australian anyway. That's huge, right? So this is not going to be, where there's money to be made, people aren't just going to ignore it. They do have an ecosystem that's live. So unlike Polkadot, which as a technology, Polkadot is crazy. It's insane, right? The markets will be impatient with Polkadot. Parachains and all those things that are technically here, but the markets will be impatient right now for that layer 0. With Near, the ecosystem is live, the UX is friendly, it's a joy to use. So these are all good recipes for success. And yes, we saw recently Near go from $8 to $14. I think the price is going to consolidate, and I do think it's going to go higher. That's my prediction in 2022. Now, in terms of entry points, again, not financial advice, but we are seeing really, really strong support around the 24% Fibonacci retracement level. We're seeing a lot of strong support there, and I've kind of highlighted this on my, if you guys can't see it, that's okay. I've kind of highlighted this on this rectangle here. There's really a lot of strong support at that $12.95 level. So around that Fibonacci level, around $12.95, give or take, it's looking really, really strong right now. Not financial advice. The next one I want to talk about is Rose, right? Now, guys, I'm going to be really honest with you, and hopefully this makes people feel a little bit better. I do a lot of TA on a lot of coins, and sometimes I just do TA for fun. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, Rose is one that I missed. And even though I did TA on it, right? So I've got a few tweets that I've shared on this. I'm showing one right now, and this was like, it must have been 2 weeks. It can't be more than 2 weeks ago, where I saw the RSI was really bullish. I saw the MACD flipped bullish. We saw a breakout from a falling wedge, bullish. And with TA, with technical analysis, it's not just one thing. If someone says, okay, the RSI on this is doing really well, okay, cool, but what do the candles look like? You know, what do the Japanese candles look like? What does the MACD look like? So when 2, 3, 4 things line up, then your chances are really, really strong. And this is something that I missed. I absolutely missed it, right? So hopefully that makes you guys feel good. Like, we all have these coins on our list and we're like, oh, damn, that one got away. So that one had to break resistance at 27 cents or 27 and a half cents. And I remember, what's this right now? So now we're looking at, what is this? Yeah, like 42 cents right now. Oh, sorry, it went to 44 cents. I think we're back at 40 cents. So it broke out of that pattern and it went all the way, right, like on a rope to 40 cents. So this is one that I missed. Now, in terms of, you know, am I looking at Rose? Yes, potentially. But if it needs to kind of retrace a few levels. I don't have a entry point for this one. But for me, if it kind of goes, you know, below 30 cents, then I might be interested. And if I missed it, I missed it. That's not a problem at all. But again, long term, I think it is very, very good. I'm personally waiting for a retracement because I think the fundamentals are really strong. Now, on the fundamentals of Rose, we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, could have been last week, the Facebook and Meta partnership. So Facebook is partnering using Rose. The launch of EVM Paratime, again, allowing Ethereum dApps, to scale on Rose is very, very bullish. And something I didn't mention last week, actually, I did not mention last week, was Yazoo Swap. So that's the first DEX on Rose. And every time you have these big milestones appear, it is very bullish for a protocol. So this one's really, really different, Ahmed. So you know how DEX works. This one's a little bit different. 0.3% of all the fees on Yazoo Swap go into a buyback contract that will actually take off Yazoo off the exchange. Like, it will actually take away the supply. It's almost like a burning mechanism. So they'll buy back from 0.3%. It's very different. It's very, very interesting. I think it will work quite well for them.
But when they buy back, what do they do with it? Is it just going into a reserve system, into treasury, or is it they're going to actually do something like they're going to burn it or something like that?
That I'm not actually sure. There's more information on their website, and I think they buy that back. Whether they burn it or not, you know, that's a really, really good question, actually. But burning, best case scenario, apart from that, maybe using it to, give token rewards in future. I think that could be interesting as well. But what is really obvious, Ahmed, is that they've really thought about how they make this different, like how they actually use it as a self-fulfilling ecosystem that increases the demand for Yazoo, and it actually reduces the supply. So good question. Whether or not it's burn or not, I don't want to comment too much on that, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I will say Yazoo hasn't launched yet. And if MRHB is any example to go by, when you have a good protocol that launches, it's often a really good time to look at that coin, not financial advice, or that blockchain, or that DEX. Now, before I finish off, I want to talk about the OG. I can't talk about layer ones without not talking about Ethereum, right? Ethereum invented smart contracts. So what about the OG? Well, from a fundamental point of view, Ethereum is still looking strong. Some news came out, I think, on the last or second last day of December, is the number of non-zero Ethereum addresses hits record levels above 71 million. Now, to put that into perspective, I think Solana is like 1.8 million or something. That, like, they hit the 2 million mark or around that mark a lot faster than Ethereum. That's a success story in its own right. Ethereum's sitting at above 71 million. It's at record levels, and that's non-zero Ethereum addresses. So any Ethereum address that owns more than 0 Ethereum, it falls into this sort of category. So it's looking really good. Now, not gonna lie to you guys, right? Like, if you ask me, are you buying more Ethereum? To be honest, I'm not. I've got a pretty solid position. It's still my biggest holding, and I'm holding on to that. I'm kind of defending that position, but I'm not selling. Now, in terms of Ethereum, other layer ones will likely outperform Ethereum in the short term. We've already seen this. This has already happened, and they're likely going to outperform Solana as well. Ultimately, it all comes down to ETH 2.0. We may see a little bit more pain than gain on the Ethereum price. And now I have also shared this tweet as well by Mark Cullen, and he talks about these, Fibonacci retracement levels. Anyway, the long and short of it is we could see a breakdown to high twos or low threes. So anywhere from 2,800 to 3,200. Don't be surprised. So if you feel like you missed out on Ethereum, I don't think you have. I think you're going to get really, really good entry points at around that 3K mark, which I may look to increase my position as well, if I'm honest with you. Now, the good thing is that layer 2s like Matic have given Ethereum a life raft. And I've got some Ethereum, some more Matic news coming up soon. And it's really, really bullish. It's really bullish for Matic, but it also shows that people aren't leaving Ethereum like sometimes people say they are. Like, Ethereum killers, Ethereum's dying. It's not dying. It's still the biggest one out there. If it dies, it's going to be a slow death. And all that Vitalik Buterin and his gang of nerds have to do is get ETH 2.0 done, sharded, live by Q3 next year, and they're fine. And if that doesn't happen, then I would be worried. I've got some honorable mentions for 2022. Like I mentioned, Matic / Polygon, which is a layer 2. Mentioned Yazoo Swap as well. That's also a coin to add on the list. Funnily enough, we had a question. I jumped into our Telegram earlier and I said, look, guys, do you want me to do some TA? And, someone asked me about Cosmos, Adam. I'm not going to be talking about that one today, but I will say it is a very, very strong one. Funnily enough, the experts are saying that if you contribute to the staking on Cosmos, so the Cosmos hub, no promises or anything, but there is a huge likelihood that you'll have airdrops because Cosmos needs to, secure the network of the blockchains on top of it. So I think that's a really, really good bet as well. Polkadot, but I do think that's a bit of a slower burn. And of course, Merhaba, right? Which you're going to talk about a little bit as well, Ahmed. So honorable mentions for 2022. I think all these 5 tokens / coins, dexes, whatever they are, have they should be ones on your list. There should be ones on your watch list to sort of look into. And on that, Ahmed, I'll kick it to you, man. But that's, I guess, my roadmap. That's, I guess, the narrative that I'm looking at for 2022. Keeping, as you notice, there's no meme coins there. Even Metaverse, I do have a Metaverse play in Render Token. Even that's taken a back step. But for the first Q1, Q2, I think the smart money is in layer 1s. And I think that's where the narrative, is going to play out. Especially if Bitcoin has this sideways action continuing. Your thoughts?
It's a fantastic roadmap. I'm looking forward to how this tracks out. I mean, you've talked about some really, really, really important topics and some topics that are gonna help a lot of people make better decisions. So for sure, guys, watch the part again if you guys have to. See the chapters in the video and see if there's anything you want to watch again, because this is a really good intro to what potentially 2022 is gonna look like. So appreciative of that. Okay, now
Now,
what's going on
Ahmed,
with Marhaba?
now
Yeah, sure,
if you
sure.
don't mind, what we might do, maybe
Not at
get the
all.
Mufti in. I know he's been waiting very, very patiently. So maybe we
Let's
get
do
him
that.
in. He's got
Yeah,
Mufti things to do that are probably more important than we've got to do. So what do you say we bring him in and then we can round it out with the Marhaba update, which is really exciting.
cool. Let's do that.
Okay, let me just try there. All right, Mr. Mufti Billal, how are you today? Sorry so much for waiting. Thank you so much for coming on. I hope you're doing well. We can't hear you.
Assalamu alaikum,
There we
everyone.
go.
I'm fine, alhamdulillah. How are
Walaikum
you? You okay?
salam. We got you. We got you.
Doing good, doing good.
Can you
Thank you
hear me
for
now?
coming.
We got you, Mufti. We got you.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Alaikum
Okay,
Walaikum
assalamu
salam.
alaikum,
salam.
everyone. How are you guys?
Very well.
Good,
So
good.
Mufti, tell us, right? So obviously we were talking last week. You did a really, really good, one of our, I guess, most popular
Yeah.
episodes ever on staking a few weeks ago, right? And you went into detail around there. And since then, we're having some conversations. There's been some misconceptions around staking, right? Around staking and I guess, the permissibility of some things. So we thought maybe this episode we can have a bit of a follow on to that staking special. And of course, we'll link that in the show notes. I do encourage people to watch that as well. But Mufti, the floor is yours. How about we sort of talk about those misconceptions in the staking world?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Basically, I think what happened is that there has been some comments and, as you said, some discussion and some queries. People were a bit confused about what I might have said because, again, I think it's down to the use of terminologies, right? So, like as I mentioned many times before, in the crypto world, some terms they're used and it gives you the impression that there are things that in fact they are not. So the same thing happened with me. I have used certain terms and which have left people maybe confused, so such as lending, etc. So I thought, let us clarify these things for them. The misunderstanding is also around the way I have described staking and delegated staking, which people felt that is not necessarily accurate. So let us just go very quickly over it again. Uh, Previously, I have said that when you're doing staking, you must ensure that the protocol, you on which you are doing your staking activity, that protocol must be involved in Sharia compliant activities fully. At the moment in the DeFi space, most of the activities, most of the protocols, they are usually either involved fully in haram or they are like hybrid protocols where you might find halal and haram activities going on in them, right? It's very rare where so far from what I've seen at least, it's very rare you find like protocols that are 100% halal in terms of the activities. Usually they have both halal and haram. Now,
Mm-hmm.
doing staking on these sort of protocols, from my understanding, is that it is not Sharia compliant if there are a form of haram activities involved. Why? Because by staking, by validating these transaction or these activities, you become part of it. You become part of it, and therefore you are aiding in sin, which in Arabic we call i'ana al ma'siyah. So there's two things in Islam. One is a person committing a sin, yeah, and the other one is the person who is aiding in sin, meaning he's not actually committing that sin himself, but he's facilitating that sin to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sometimes it might be direct, sometimes it might be indirect. Now, when it's indirect, obviously we need to see, how much of it is of indirect. But when it's direct, and therefore it is not Sharia compliant. It is not permissible for you to do that. For example, I'll give you a very simple example. Yeah, is that there is a couple. There's a man and a woman who wants to commit adultery, yeah, and you are helping in that. You are helping in that by maybe helping them to meet up together and helping them to find a location for them to commit the adultery. So you're not directly part in the committing the adultery yourself, but you have facilitating that process, and therefore you are a sinful person as well from a Sharia perspective. In staking, if you are validating or verifying non-Sharia compliant transaction or exchanges or activities, you are also part of that sin. And therefore, it is not Sharia compliant. Now, people have said that, yes, but the transaction itself have taken place and you were not part of it. You did not witness it. You did not initiate it. You didn't do anything with it. So how can you verification is not a truly verification in the sense that the transaction has already taken place. Yeah, it's basically irreversible or almost irreversible. So by you verifying, it's like it's not in the true sense of you verifying that everything is depending on you, and therefore it's not your fault. And because it's not your fault, and because you're not really taking part in that transaction, therefore verifying should be allowed, and it doesn't matter if the transaction is haram or not. You got nothing to do with it.
Mm.
My answer to that is that you need to ask yourself this question: if you are verifying this transaction, yeah, will the exchange take place without your action, without your effort? Yes or no? Does that transaction, does that exchange can only happen with your effort? If it does, if it needs truly your effort for the exchange to take place between the two parties, then you are part of it. Then you are part of the transaction, and therefore it is not Sharia compliant for you to do this activity. I am giving an example for people to understand here. Me and Ahmed, we are exchanging a car. Okay, so I give him the money and he gives me the car. Now we have agreed to it, we've met together, we've agreed to it and everything. Now Mubi needs to verify that transaction. Now the question that we need to ask is, can the exchange truly take place? Meaning, can Ahmed really take the money in his possession, and can I truly take the car in my possession without Mubi's input? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, we can actually exchange. Doesn't matter the third person in the middle. It doesn't matter at all. We are still gonna get what we want. Then that's fine. I will say okay, staking. There's no problem with it, no matter what transaction you're verifying. But if the answer is no, I cannot get, the car. Ahmed cannot get the money until a third party involvement is a must. Then, therefore, staking will have to be considered as non-Sharia compliant, where a person is verifying non-Sharia compliant activities. I hope that's clear on that.
Just
Yeah,
to clarify, Mufti Billal, just to clarify a little bit more, is that the
yeah,
technical aspects of staking is not the issue. The issue is the actual token itself and the transaction itself. You have to make sure those things are
yes,
correct. For okay,
that's right. Yes, exactly. So
okay,
for that reason, obviously, not only the activity must be share compliant, and also the token as well, because you as a validator, you're going to be, as a staker, you're going to get rewarded as well, right? So you must get
hmm,
rewarded in Sharia compliant tokens as well. So that is paramount as well. So because if they pay you non-Sharia compliant token, then that itself is problematic. Yeah, so
yeah,
that's for staking.
makes
For
sense.
delegated staking, I have said that delegated staking, so it's basically very similar to lending. Yeah,
Hmm.
meaning that the reward that I will be earning is akin to interest and therefore is haram. Now, people have said, yes, but how can you call this lending when your crypto, yeah, when your crypto never leaves your possession? It always stays in your wallet. So you're not, the when you're delegating your crypto to someone else, that someone never takes possession of your crypto. He can never use your crypto either. Your crypto always remain locked in your wallet. Yeah. So therefore, there
Hmm.
is no true lending happening here.
Hmm.
For me, this is, although it's true that your token never leaves your possession, but the fact that you have put your token as disposal, you have put the value as disposal, because don't forget, he can only the person that you have delegated your crypto to, he can only carry on the work if you are there. He depends on you, he depends on your crypto. And even though that he's not taking physically possession of your crypto himself, and he's not using it directly himself, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. From a Sharia perspective, there is no like a must requirement that says, a loan must actually leave, the ownership of one, of the borrower, or the lender to the borrower. There's no such a requirement. In fact, yeah, we can let's look at another example. Yeah, if for example I owe Ahmed £100,000. Yeah, I don't owe him, by the way. Yeah, and I don't have that kind of money as well. I don't know whether Ahmed does have that
I
kind of
was gonna
money.
say,
Yeah,
Mufti Billal, where's the £100,000? I'm waiting. It's okay.
yeah.
You come to Jeddah, I'll forgive it.
Now, inshallah. Now, if Mubi say, okay, Bilal, you know what? I'll pay the loan for you, yeah, and pay me back with the interest, and I agree to it. Now that's it. Now he didn't pay me. I've taken a loan. Technically, I've taken a loan from him, but you've never given me, Mubi. You never gave me the money directly in my hand. I've never physically taken possession of that money either. So it doesn't matter. From a Sharia perspective, it doesn't matter. So if I go going back to delegated staking, although the crypto does not leave my possession, it doesn't matter. That person is cannot complete his activities unless you put the value of your own token at his disposal. Okay? And therefore, whatever he is going to be paying you as reward is akin to interest. People have said, yeah, but this is just like a business. This is like a business. It is not a business. You see, in staking, one thing I mentioned, I forgot to mention earlier, is that in staking, the reason why we say staking is Sharia compliant, if the protocol is halal and the activity is halal, the reason why we say staking is Sharia compliant is that it is based in a contract called Juala. This is for me. This is a great opinion. This is my opinion. Mufti Farah's opinion. Mufti Farah's Adam as well. He's written, I'm sure, on staking, and he has mentioned that staking is based on Juala. Crypto Islam, Sheikh Abu Yusuf or Sheikh Yusuf, I forget his name now, but he's also mentioned that staking in itself, the structure of staking itself, is based on Juala, and Juala means rewarding somebody if they accomplish a certain task. So if I say, and if I lost a cat, for example, and I say, whoever found the cat will receive £100, for example. Now, there is no contract between us. There is no contract of working or anything like that. There is no business contract or anything. I just made an announcement. Whoever finds the cat, he gets £100. Staking is similar to that. There is no business involved. And the person who's doing the task is not my employee either. He is not my employee. Okay? It's a reward I'm giving that person in staking. If you do this for me, I will reward you. So if staking is not based on a business, how can you say delegated staking is based on a business? You're not, the person who's doing the staking is never buying or selling anything in the first place. He's not selling neither an asset, he's not selling any services either, because it's not an ijara based contract. It's juala. There is no service sell going on here. So therefore, when you you're doing delegated staking, and you're delegating your crypto to a pool, yeah, that validator, he's not selling any service. So the return that he's giving you is not as a result of him selling a service or selling an asset. He is sharing in the reward that he's getting himself. Now, can you do musharaka in the rewards? This is unheard. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that. And again, based on what? Based on you putting your crypto at his disposal. Again, don't forget, he will not share in the reward with you unless you agree to put your crypto at his own disposal. No, even though he's got no access to it or anything like that, but the value of your crypto is there, is helping him to be able to complete his activity. For me, this is a form of lending, and the reward that he's giving to you, it's basically riba. Now, some scholar have said, in fact, in delegated staking activity, it is not Sharia compliant, not based on the lending uh, um, argument that I have put forward, but they say it's based on the facts that you are selling a guarantee, and there's a lot of gharal in there. What do I mean by that? In delegated staking, if I approach a validator and I put my crypto at his disposal again, and I'm making a pledge to him, right? This is a pledge. What happened is, if he doesn't do his work properly, if he does something wrong or something like that, he gets punished. He will get punished. Yeah. If he gets punished, yeah, I will probably lose some of my crypto. I will lose some of my crypto because of his wrongdoing. Yeah. Now, for me to make that pledge and to say that I'm standing behind you, and if there is anything happen, and if there is any something wrong happen, that I will support you. I put my crypto at disposal as well. As a backup. However, basically, pay me the part of the reward that you're getting. This is non-Sharia compliant either. There's gharal in there because you don't know. It's very similar to insurance contract. I'm not saying this is an insurance. I'm saying it's like an insurance. Why do we say insurance contract and non-Sharia compliant? Because you're paying a premium, but you don't know whether that person, the insurer is going to provide you the service or not. You don't know that. So here as well is the same thing. He is paying you a reward, but he doesn't know whether you're going to ever provide him with a service of participating in the loss that is going to occur if something wrong happens. We don't know that. Now, this is the opinion of a scholar I have spoken to. But again, if we go with that explanation, it would mean that staking is still non-Sharia compliant. However,
Del-
I don't agree with that explanation. The reason why I don't agree with that explanation is that not all form of delegating staking activity automatically means that the one who is delegating the crypto is going to lose. Meaning, even in a slashing event, there is a possibility that your crypto is absolutely fine. You're not going to lose anything. So if you're not going to lose anything, that means why are you being rewarded for? What are you getting reward from? It's not a business because the pool is not selling and buying anything. So you're not doing business. So you cannot be musharaka, you cannot be a partner in a business. So what that reward that he's giving you is what exactly? Is it a gift? If it's a gift, then you need to prove me that this is a gift, that somebody says, oh, come, I'm going to give you a gift. If it's a gift, then you need to prove that it is a gift. If it's not a gift, then therefore it has to be lending, and there is no any other way to explain this from my understanding. I hope that clears up some of the misconception there was around my comments last time.
And yeah, I think one thing more you can add here is that we've been talking about the difference between staking and delegated staking. What are the two differences? For example, give us an example. What is staking? Is it that I get my own machinery, I get my own software, and I connect it to the ecosystem, and I put my tokens in there and I stake it? And what is delegated staking? Is it exchanges? Like, so just a little bit more details on those two things.
I mean, the staking is, yes. I mean, staking is when you are actually using your own. How do you call it? You're using the software and you're doing your own thing. You are the one basically verifying the transaction. Okay, you are the one who is crucial to the verification of the transaction. Whether in delegated staking, that is not the case. It's someone else doing it. You are not doing anything. You just making a pledge that here's my crypto. Yeah. However, you have to remember one thing is that when you're making a pledge, your crypto is also locked. You cannot use your crypto. No one else can use your crypto. That's fine. We understand that. No one else has access to it. However, it doesn't mean that you yourself you can use it during that process. If you want to start using your own crypto, then you need to separate. I don't know how they call it now. There's a technical term for it, but you need to basically stop doing the process of delegating to be able to start using your crypto. Yeah. If you don't do that,
Yeah.
then your crypto is locked. So that is the key difference. But other than that, you're not doing anything. It's just like you've locked your crypto somewhere and you can go to sleep. You don't know what's going on. It doesn't matter. It's someone else doing all the work. Whether in staking, you have to put some work. This is why we said that work is akin to what we call in Islamic finance as juala. Juala is a form of basically of a reward and compensation for a task that is performed by somebody. Yeah, but it's not
Okay.
an ijara. It's not an employment contract either. Yeah.
Just to kind of build on that aspect, there is some services out there where there's a pool set up by the service, and anybody can put their tokens in, and it's your tokens or your coins that are doing the validation. Would you say that's delegated staking, or would you say that's staking? You're not owner of the hardware and software, but it is your token specifically that is making those transaction validations.
But who's doing it though? Who's doing the validation?
Your tokens. It's your tokens that are doing it. Everybody's token is in that same pool, but
Yeah.
depending on the transaction, who gets selected from this pool is gonna vary. Like for example, me, you, and Moby are in the same pool, and are in the same pool, but the pool has been built by Corporation X. But we all it's mine, yours, and his tokens that are in the pool. And now, when a transaction comes, it's selected automatically that it goes through Moby's token validation ledger system. Would you say that's delegated, or would you say that's
So
staking?
your crypto is not in your crypto is not in your wallet basically. It's locked in someone else's pool.
It's locked
Is
into
locked.
the corporate X's pool that they've created.
Yeah, so it's not in your possession, right? It's not like delegated staking, or is it just delegated
Well,
staking we're talking about?
well, well. It's like yeah, you kind of give your rights to the pool that the pool does all of this stuff, but it's your tokens that are being working for the validation, and it's obviously nothing's guaranteed. So it's like
Possibly.
you
I'm not going to give a definite answer. It's something I can look into, but yeah, possibly.
yeah.
Maybe, look, there might be a form of doing it, right? There might be a form of doing it where you are staking, but your staking activity is basically how can I say that, shared between different people. So like for example, where we said that in delegated staking, yeah, I said that you're not doing anything, right? You're just putting the value at the disposal of somebody for him to be able to
Mhm.
win, yeah, the right to do, to do the work. Now, if can there be an alternative to that, where you are
Mhm.
actually uh, partnering up with other people, but at the same time there's a true work happening on your side. Now, true work
Mhm.
happening on your side, meaning like there is a, you haven't just lent the value of your crypto, you are putting your crypto at work basically, yeah,
Got it.
and you're partnering up
Got it. Got
with
it. Got it.
people. Maybe there might be a possibility for it to be Sharia compliant. I'm not denying that fact,
Okay.
but I need to
Okay.
look at that structure. But again, the
Yeah.
fact will always remain, yeah, that even if that structure of staking was Sharia compliant, the fact remains that you can only do it if the transaction itself are also Sharia compliant.
Agreed. That makes sense. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense. And I remember we were talking last time. This is kind of off the video. We were talking the other day about setting up a call with one of the biggest staking providers and stuff. And so that's in the works. We will set up a call between our ulama board, which is Mufti Billal and Dr. Fook and stuff, with a provider of specifically staking. Like their entire corporation is developed on the concept of staking, so we can get to the nitty gritty tech details. And also, just to add on, because I've actually done a video with a guy who's done a PhD in staking and proof of concepts, and he's kind of talked to me about that. There's various aspects of staking, so it's not just one thing. There's many things that are involved within even staking. So we're gonna have to kind
that's
of
right. Yeah,
set up all these. Yeah, we're gonna have to set up all these ideas together and come to a conclusion on which method, where, and how, and then kind of bring it to the community. And inshallah, we
I
can get
think
that done
Ahmed,
for
he
you
was
guys.
was with you last time. I was telling you about, I think, was it bonding? I was telling you, or something else, and I said, like.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, they wrote that there were ikhtilaf, there was difference of opinion between the crypto actors, whether this is similar to delegated staking or not. And where some are saying that, oh no, this is just as same as delegated staking, but the other party was saying, no, this is not delegated staking, it's something else altogether. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, I think there are various aspects of staking and delegated staking, and that's the thing, right, with DeFi, that is very very hard to give generic answer when you know there are so
Hmm.
many other things out there,
Yeah,
which they probably
it's a
share the
very.
same name, but all the structure are different.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah,
But we can
and
only
it's like
set up certain guidelines, right? We can only set up certain guidelines and certain things like,
exactly.
okay, you have to ensure, this is share compliant, protocol is share compliant, the reward token that you're getting is also share compliant. And, these are like basic guidelines you can give to people. But then after that, yeah, there
Hmm.
might be forms that we're not aware, the structure of the staking itself. Like, I was watching a video of Mufti Faraz Adam. I think it was in August. I think it was released on a website. It's called Islamic Markets. I think it's called. And over there as well, he didn't talk in details. He mentioned about staking, and he said, "Look, we need
Hmm.
to look at the mechanism. It has to be Sharia compliant, right? It
Hmm.
has to be Sharia compliant. The protocol, there are aspects of staking that you must ensure is Sharia compliant." So these things,
Hmm.
yeah, we need to look at it like individually. But yeah, there are
Hmm.
basic stuff that we can only say to people that look, pay attention to these couple of things,
Yeah,
before
I
they
think very
invest in
important point that we need to kind of let the community know is that this right here, as we are living it, is developing the stairs to the end goal. So I've met up with one of the I sidetracked, but I met up with one of the biggest ulama in Islamic finance in Pakistan, and they kind of mentioned this too. That this look, guys, we are developing the first aspects of Islamic finance, and now we are now just right here, and Mufti Bilal, Dr. Farouk, and our team Sharia board is literally developing the next level of finance, and it's going to take iteration, reiteration. It's going to take a lot of discussion, a lot of research and development before we get to a final product. And so we are super blessed and thankful for the the time that we spend with you, and we get the information. So guys, just keep giving us your support and your comments and stuff about this, and we will be bringing this to the team, letting them kind of handle it from their expertise. Cool. I think that wraps up the
uh,
conversation.
yeah, was there something else from my side?
Yes, we did. We did. I'll read it out. I'll share my screen and Mufti Bilal, it's in your WhatsApp as well if you want to read it
Mhm.
while I'm reading
Yeah,
this out. Let me go
yeah.
back to my screen here. Yeah. So Mustafa Hegazy, fan of the show. Thanks again, Mustafa, for commenting. Really, really do appreciate it. He asks, first of all, I want to thank you guys for everything that you do. I do have a question. Not sure if you would address it, but it indirectly relates to Marhaba. My question is about Sheesha Finance and whether it would be halal to invest with them. It relates to Marhaba because they are now giving out Marhaba as rewards. I asked this question in the Telegram, and amazingly, their response was Marhaba is Sharia compliant and you should address any related questions to them. I'm guessing Marhaba team was able to research this before committing and just wanted to confirm. I'm just trying to do my own research, but having very little difficult time getting real answers. Jazakallah khair. Sorry if this was not an appropriate question to ask here. So we thought we'd just sort of kick it to you. Obviously, Shisha Finance is a partner, a valued partner of Marhaba. But just wanted to kick that question to you, Mufti, if you had any sort of thoughts on that.
Yes, I think that, yeah. Look, Shisha Finance, and I think this is also in the public domain as well, in the news, that Shisha Finance, first of all, is an investor in Marhaba. Okay, they have invested in Marhaba. Yeah. Now,
Mhm.
investing in a Sharia compliant company does not mean that you, as an investor, you have become Sharia compliant or your money has turned halal or something like that. It doesn't mean that, right? So, for example, somebody, I don't know, a drug dealer, for example, yeah, he goes to takeaway, yeah. Now you selling him food, yeah. Does he mean that his money has turned halal? No, it doesn't mean that. Does he mean that you now your money has turned haram because you have sold him a chicken burger and he's paying you with the money that he's earned from dealing in drugs? No, it doesn't mean that. Yeah. Now, Shisha Finance, I'm not going to say is Sharia compliant or non-Sharia compliance because I just haven't screened it. And it is not the role of the board of Marhaba, the Sharia board of Marhaba, to screen every investor, because that's not Sharia does not require us to do that. These are just investors, right? So yes, there is a strategic partnership. The strategic partnership is for them to promote marhaba, to help, halal DeFi, to prosper and stuff like that, which is absolutely fine. It doesn't matter whether their project is Sharia compliant or not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be even Muslim to do it. It can be non-Muslim promoting marhaba. We can. Do you understand?
Mm.
So the question that the brother has asked, although I do understand his question, but we don't need to. It doesn't matter. They are investors, yeah, and they are a strategic partner. Remember that, strategic partner. It doesn't mean they're partners in the equity or something like that. No, they're strategic partner, and that's it. Now, whether their project is Sharia compliant or not, I do not know. I have not looked at it, and we're not required to do that either. From a Sharia perspective, we're not required to do that.
Fair enough. Awesome. No, I
Yeah.
appreciate the answer. Let it not be said
Yeah.
if an answer isn't what someone's looking for, we're still going to try to answer that anyway. So hopefully that helps Mustafa, and really appreciate the respectful question.
If I can add something about Sheesha, they're like a mutual fund. So their job is to find various projects that are going to be successful, invest in them, and then give them out in through their project. So they invest in us because they see that we're a good and future project, and so that's what they do in very high level understanding. They're like a mutual fund within crypto. So if that kind of adds value to the answer.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, and of course, now somebody might say, okay, like there might be instance where there are certain things we cannot make in the public because it might be brand damaging. Like for example, I don't know, maybe like if it's a project, yeah, a project, I don't know, based on gambling, for example, or based on like on pornography or something like that. We're not going to go out and say, like these are our investors. Sometimes although like I said, anybody can invest in marhaba. We have always said that you can be Muslim or non-Muslim. Anybody can invest in marhaba, right? Because this is business. At the end of the day, when you open a shop, your shop is open to everybody. Sharia did not require us to only deal with Muslim. It did not do that. Yes, there are certain time when you cannot take money from somebody if that money is haram. Like for example, he's invited you to his house, etc., etc. And even then, there's difference of opinion between the scholars. But when it comes to business, buying and selling, yeah, luckily, this is a mercy from God to even allow us to do trading with everyone and anyone. Yes, but yeah, at the same time, like sometimes certain things you can announce it in the public, certain things you cannot announce in the public because people might not understand it or it might be brand damaging and stuff like that. These are secondary decision, I
Mm.
believe. But saying that somebody is an investor in us does not mean that their activities or their business has become Sharia compliant. Not at all.
Fantastic.
Very well put.
Awesome.
Very well put.
Thank you.
Amen.
Amen. I mean, yeah. Thank you for the answer, Mufti Bilal. And by the way, guys, Mufti Bilal and myself, we did a video just a couple of days ago that we'll release in a few days as well, which actually specifically revolves around Islamic compliance of Marhaba. How is it Islamically compliant? So definitely stay tuned. That was a lot of fun recording that, and yeah, thanks again, Mufti Bilal, for your time.
Yeah, that was your
No problem.
khutbah for the Friday. Do not forget to donate to the mosque.
Awesome.
Okay,
Uh,
we're not Friday, by the way, Ahmed. It's not Friday today.
it's not
Look,
Friday
look,
anywhere. It's not Friday in
No,
any
you,
part of the world.
yeah,
look,
it's
look,
not
look.
Friday
For
in any part of
me,
the world.
for me, every day is like a blessed Friday.
Yeah, there
Alhamdulillah.
we go. Nice save, Ahmed. You just haven't slept since Friday. Also, Mufti Bilal, we'll let you go. And Ahmed,
Yeah, no
we'll kick
problem.
it
Take
back
care,
to you.
guys.
Assalamu alaikum.
Take care.
Take care.
Salam
Alaikum
alaikum.
salam wa rahmatullah.
Okay, that was very, very informative. Thank guys again. If you want to re-listen to it, listen to it three, four, five times to understand what's being discussed here. Because yes, we did go a little bit technical in there in certain parts. So slow it down, understand it, and then learn. Because if you learn it now, you got 20, 30, 40, 60, 70 years, depending on how long, inshallah, you live, of success within this platform. Okay, so what are the updates with Marhaba? What's going on? All that fun stuff. So I'm going to start off by sharing my screen. Let's do that. So I can show you guys where we're at. Entire screen. I think that should be fine. It's not like I got anything open. Okay. Moby, am I sharing my screen? Can you see?
Yep, we can see your screen. Fantastic.
Fantastic. So if you guys can see here, this is pretty much our token. We just launched. You can see that at the 4.1 cent. Sorry, yeah, 4.1 cents, and we've very successfully slowly grown within a few days, all the way up till I think we hit 14, 15 cents somewhere. Yeah, exactly. And then we've kind of rallied down, and now we're slowly progressing to go up. Now, this was an a public launch without a full utility product solution linked to it already. So without there being a full utility solution, it has already went up, and we're currently standing around. What was the amount exactly? While recording this video, about 11 cents. As you can see here today, we went up by about 2.5%. So Marhaba is increasing. The token prices are going. We will be bringing this in part of our TA and FA analysis. But as of right now, we need the product to at least be launched for about 2 months before we can start doing the TAs and FAs with a little bit more confidence. Remember, the
Exactly.
goal of TA and FA is to bring confidence in your decision making, and that's where people who understand these formats of analysis are the ones that are the 5% or the 10% who are making the most revenue. So we have to get to the point where it'll be the most useful to do those type of analysis and build those confidence. So, but still looking very, very strong here. I personally think this is without our product launches in place. Imagine when the product launches come in place, there's gonna be a natural demand built because of the marketing, because of the product, because of the hype around it. The second thing is gonna be the products are gonna require people to buy the token to do all the stuff within the products within the ecosystem. So then there's going to be also a pushed demand aspect onto the token, and that's going to push the price up. So if you're thinking about buying, obviously not financial advice, but I think this would probably be the best time because we're right about launching everything as we go from here, right? So big, big, big congratulations to the entire community if you guys were part of this public launch, and if you were a pre-public sale, one, two, or if you were a part of the IDO, is it's really successful for us already. For example, anybody who wasn't part of the pre-public sale round one, which we've talked about, given description, given how to's and everything, and if you were part of that, you bought it at 2 cents. Right now, it's sitting at 10 cents. Obviously, there's the vesting period, but that kind of shows you potential of the project. So that's the update on the token price. Moby, I feel like you want to say something.
No, no, man, it's all good. Yeah, yeah, speechless. I'm just, to be honest, like last week, I wasn't joking when I said if we sit at 4 cents for 3 months, I don't care. Like, it's just about stability. So,
Mhm.
and guys, you can go back and watch that, video. I'm not just saying that. This is not unprecedented. I won't say that this does happen in some IDOs, but this is not what we expected. So this was a very, very nice surprise indeed.
Yeah. Um, and there's things always happening in the background in regard to marketing. I mean, there's influencers that are reaching out to us on a daily basis saying we want to market your product, and we're like, go for it. There's no one's stopping you. You guys are controlling your own reviews and stuff. So go for it and do whatever you guys want to do. So there's always pumps and things coming up, and it's always exciting things that are happening. Okay, cool. Now, I bought the token. Ahmed, what do I do now? And why should I be buying the token and XYZ? Now, I've already talked about the product, the aspects, the utilities, and all that stuff. We have a ongoing liquidity pool that's happening right now. One, you can buy the tokens. You can go into Pancake Swap. We already talked about this, and there's already guides on this, and you can put into the liquidity pool within Pancake Swap. Then what you do is you can get the LP tokens, and here we go into details about this. You can take the LP tokens, and you can actually put it into our specific pool that has been built by Marhaba. It's called rewards at, oh, I gotta open this, that's fine. Rewards.marhaba network. When you go in there, you can connect your wallet and you can pretty much start seeing how many tokens you have and all that stuff. There's a guide on this that's being created as we speak. This launch pool, liquidity pool from Marhaba's side was recently created. The actual guide will be produced and sent to you guys very soon also. So you guys can take your tokens, put them into pancake swap, make liquidity providing, which is 30, 40, 50% depending on pancake swap. We don't control that. Then you can come here and put it into here for an extra boost within your liquidity providing and the percentage that you can make. So this is going to help facilitate a few things actually. If you're just holding the tokens, then put it into these liquidity pools because it's going to reward you more. And so what this can do is it's going to increase the liquidity within the project, bringing more stability to the prices of the project and slow growth towards the project, and obviously a demand for the buying of the token. And it's going to continuously increase the price of that token as we go up. So this is a huge opportunity. You can connect your wallet to it. You can put your locked liquidity pool tokens in here and make more income for yourself. Now, going back to this article, this is Yahoo Finance, by the way, shows you guys the the position of the project and that we are being mentioned by various and really well respected news PR channels. And so if you read the title, MRHB DeFi closes successful $5.5 million fundraise with IDO and announces 5 million pool. I mean, we could talk about the pool. I already talked about the pool, but $5.5 million is actually what we raised, looking at our all private and seed rounds and also our IDO. So you know, big shout out to the community. We have a lot of support from the community. If I can mention this, it's in here also. There's about 4.6 thousand, so 4,600 people that are holders from the community, from our previously to the IDO. Within the IDO, there's also another a few hundred, and now if you look at the total at public, is 1,500. So technically speaking, you'd add those 1,500 to the 4.6 thousand, and within a few months, you'll see that we'll be at 6,000, 7,000, 10,000, 20,000 holders. And as we grow together, it's a huge request that I have for everybody who's watching and anybody who's in a part of our community. So please let your family know, let your community know, let your friends know. If you feel comfortable and confident with the product and the solution and the team and all that stuff, you should kind of spread the word. So share about this, share this news to everybody, and let them know that there is a product out there for ethical, individual minded people, for people who are looking for halal solutions and all that stuff. Cool. So that's my update on the liquidity providing, the token, and the rewards. Now the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is, I'm really excited about this actually, is our website. We have a rebranding done of the website. The website looks so much better. Now you can share the website with your friends. So I'm just going to open up the website to kind of show you guys what's going on and what it looks like. So you can see here, it's got a newer look. It's got a more dynamic look, and we were talking about various aspects. We have the light paper, the white paper, the green paper. We have the products here. We're talking about our vision. We're talking about the tokenomics. We're talking about our future roadmap. I mean, as a whole, and then when you scroll down, you can see our products. You can see how we're linked with the actual sustainable development goals of United Nations, and how ethical finance and interest-free based finance is really important for the world. That's exactly what we were represented. Then you can see the team. Obviously, if you're interested in anybody, you can click on them
Oh
and you can
yeah,
go to their
I love
LinkedIn.
I love how you hovered over your own photo for the color. You didn't
Look,
hover over
look, you
anyone
have to.
else, but you hovered over your own one. Mashallah.
And once again, guys, like the team is very diverse. The team is super diverse. You can see here we got people from almost every other country. We're not focusing on any specific region, any specific mindset. We have a very diverse team for the diverse ideas, and obviously it's those diverse ideas and a team that helps us develop a product that is very very well, very advanced. So that's the update on that. The next thing I want to talk about is something that we've been seeing very frequently on our communities. There are a lot of scam accounts scam, things being made under our names, my name, Nakib's name, other individuals' names from the team, and then also there's also channels being made on Telegram which have nothing to do with us, but they've taken our name. So be very careful with who you're engaging with, what you're engaging with, and make sure that it's not fake news, rather it's real and it's coming from the official channels of Marhaba. You can get those official channels at our website, in this YouTube channel, and through our other social medias like Twitter and stuff. So please be aware of that. Um, Last thing I want to kind of mention is that we did have our Mr. Khalid, who was our part of our team. He was at a event where obviously they recorded his session and he talked about Marhaba. So do check out this video. It's got a lot of good information about what is Marhaba, what's going on, where we're going in the future, and it's very exciting for the project.
I,
That
I
kind of
will say
sums
I will
up.
say on that one, it's actually really really good video, guys. It's like 8 minute, 9 minute video.
Mhm.
Ken, whatever his name was, interviewed. Um, Khalid. The interesting thing, this Ken gentleman, who I actually, to be honest, I don't know him, but he's got like 900,000 followers, like huge, huge,
Yeah.
huge, huge, right? So world
Yeah.
stage, very impressive video. Have a look at it, and it really kind of, really, it's a good video to share if you're new to Merhaba or you want to share it with someone who doesn't know, because this
Mhm.
guy's just sort of asking as a layman. And just
Mhm.
goes to show that, this Ken guy, Yahoo Finance, a lot of great things. And last thing I'll say, when you're talking about those numbers, Ahmed, 4,000 here, another 1,000 there, guys, they're baby numbers. They're baby numbers. Like we're really, really early. We're incredibly early.
Yeah.
So like, it just shocks me and reminds me how early we are. And it's a good idea to. And to be honest, it's funny you said, like, I'll be really honest. You said, share it with your friends and family. I have, and I shared it with them. And some of them, I shared it in to be honest with you, completely honest, like the last couple of weeks. Yes, friends and family I've been telling them about, but really more since we launched. And some of them actually said to me, Moby, why didn't you tell me earlier? Like, why didn't you tell me earlier? And I said, to
Mhm.
be honest, like, I'm really shy when I give advice because I've done the research. Have a different risk appetite. I've read the white paper, light paper, green paper. I've done all of that. So
Mhm.
I can give you that advice, but I'll always undersell it. But right now, like, we've seen the
Ah.
confidence. We're really, really excited. And right now, I've kind of really amped it up. So, guys, you really need to look into this now. Now you really, really need
Yeah.
to look into this. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
exciting
if
stuff.
I can mention on something in regards to that, like there were people who put in a interest. We had an interest form for round one and all that stuff, and so there were people who actually put in a interest for their SAFT and everything, and they didn't go through with it. They didn't put the money through, so their SAFT got like it's not held accountable for anymore because you
It's
didn't
not valid.
act upon
Mm.
it fully within. It's not valid. Sorry, that's the word. And now they're messaging us and asking, can we get those same prices? It's like, and they're asking us constantly in this. I'm like, well, you had everything in your hand at the time. All you had to do was send the tokens and believe at that time when we were making it. I have friends who, when I mentioned, obviously on my social media, I've been sharing it on my personal and also on Think Log Grow Rich, and people didn't act upon it, and now I'm getting messages and comments that how can I get involved? Well, I've given you everything before, and so obviously don't FOMO in, but look and do your research and be confident and take a decision. And yeah, so that's there's been a lot of things like that happening. One thing I did not mention, which I think is very important to mention, is that our Souk NFT has been launched. It is actually performing very well. There's people who are buying and selling their NFTs, and I'm seeing bids go up, and it's very interesting to see, when you put a product up there and now people are using it to sell their designs and artwork, and people are actually buying it from there, is very cool. So I seen this architect design being sold a few times. I don't know. People are loving these architect designs. So uh, NFT marketplace is up. Check it out. If you're a designer, it's a place for you to be. Put up your designs and everything, and as soon as we start marketing it heavily, you'll see a lot of buyers coming in, and at that time, you're going to see reward coming into your hands. So just another update on that. Now, that is what's going on with Marhaba. There's a lot of exciting things other than this. We delayed our Sahal wallet, but we're going to be bringing out more information about that. And we delayed it on purpose because we believe that there's a better time to deploy it because of the bandwidth of of our team, two, because of the utility functions within it. And we're developing on that, and we're making it something that's going to be impeccable as soon as it comes out. Just like our NFT marketplace, we wanted to make sure everything that's coming out is at the highest quality. And so our website, you can see now, is better. Our Souk NFT is out, and just like that, you're going to see our Sahal Wallet come out with that big bang. Um, that's the updates on Marhaba. Moby, I know you had a few questions for me from the YouTube.
Yeah, yeah, guys. Look, honestly, we try to keep. You know what, guys? When we first started this, we're like, we're gonna do these shows at 20 minutes. I realized really quickly that that doesn't really happen. We try to aim sort of 30, 40 minutes, but of course when we have special guests or things to talk about. This one's a little bit different. It's 2022. So thanks for bearing with us. It's a very, very different show. It's a very, very big show. So stay tuned because
Uh-huh.
we have a lot more. I've got some questions for Ahmed, and then I've got some some technical analysis on Matic. So definitely stay tuned for that or forward to that section. But yeah, the first question for you, and I'm going to share the screen, and I think you've definitely seen these before, Ahmed, as well. The question was from SI, who's also a fan of the show. I've seen that name come up a few times, so thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, great show. I watched the show. Alhamdulillah, it's great to see Muslims talking crypto. A couple of questions. Is it possible for the next show to talk about how the early public round investors who have a 24-month lockup period can start to claim our tokens? And where will the tokens be sent to the wallet where we send USDT from? Sorry, and will the tokens be sent to the wallet where we sent USDT from? So I might stop there. So I guess that first part of the question is it
Yeah.
possible? How will the early public round investors who have a 24-month lockup period, how can they start to claim their tokens? And will the tokens be sent to the wallet where we sent USDT from? Ahmed.
Okay. Great question. Yes, we can talk about it. We surely can. So there is a 4 month lockup period as of right now when we're speaking, depending on your vesting schedule. And so as of the 4 months, that puts us in ending of April, since we were launched in December ending. So ending of April is when you're looking at when your tokens will start coming in. We will be sending out a communication in regards to your wallet addresses if they're not a wallet address that comes from a KYC wallet. For example, if your wallet address is from an exchange, that is a non KYC wallet. Sorry, that is from a KYC wallet. You want to have it from a non custodial wallet where you own the keys. And if it's not a wallet that is from like a key holding wallet, we will be sending communication in regards to that. So, for example, a Trust Wallet and MetaMask is a wallet that is specifically your key holding wallet, and that should be fine. But there will be a communication sent, so you'll learn a lot more about it as soon as that time is kind of coming up. Check your emails, check your spams, and obviously stay engaged in the community. We will be sending out communications everywhere, so please stay engaged with that, and there will be a way that you can communicate with us in regards to that.
The the
Yes, if
second
you,
the second part of that question, did you want to? I'll just read that out. I think you answered a little bit of this already. And will we be able to change our wallet addresses for the token to be sent to? Which I think is yes, but you can confirm that, Ahmed. And will we be
yeah.
able to send it to any hardware wallets in the near future?
This is some good questions. Okay, so to answer that, yes, you can change your wallet address even today. All you have to do is send an email to support at Marhaba. It's in the website. It's on the dashboard. Just go into your dashboard, log in. You'll see the email pop up. You can send an email to that and say, "I'm looking forward to changing it to, my MetaMask or my Trust Wallet. And here's the address with the BEB20, blah 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 blah." So you can still do it now, and you will be able to do it in the future too. So no worries about that. About the hardware wallet, yes, we have officially partnered with Titan Alipal, and you will see Marhaba's token on this hardware wallet. Now, this one is a little bit more on the higher side and more on the expensive side. But if you are looking for just putting it on any hardware wallet, you will be able to do through your BEP smart chain, and you should be able to put it on your hardware wallets also, depending on which wallet it is. Um, I think that kind of answers that question. And then at the ending, I think he says, I've submitted the token as a request to Blockfolio to be added, but I don't know if and where the token is going to be added. Is there any help? Honestly, if you reached out to Blockfolio already, that's fantastic. If you want us to reach out to them, we can also reach out to them from an official email and make it happen. I think a lot of these hardware wallets are always willing to work with us, and because they see the project, and they're always happy to support these type of projects. So we will probably in the near future start contacting all of the various hardware wallet organizations and ask them to put our token in their list, and we'll see how they kind of add it and whatnot. But as of now, we have one already.
Awesome. Next question was by Saud Aslam. When I use Pancake Swap on Trust Wallet, I select USDT and then I select MRHB, but it says insufficient MRHB and it doesn't allow LP.
Okay, so this could be for a few things. So if you follow the guide, I think the guide will be able to answer the questions for you. It's pretty much one of the videos before this video on our YouTube channel. But it could be because of various things. One, it could be because your MRHB tokens are not have not been imported, like the token itself hasn't been imported into your wallet. But if it has, that's fine. Then what you have to do is you have to make sure your USDT is an equivalent ratio to your MRHB. So try to play with the amounts of USDT and MRHB, try to increase and decrease and see where it allows you, because sometimes because of fluctuating price, the amount is always fluctuating. So maybe just reduce your USDT amount or reduce your MRHB amount, and it should be allowing you to, like this insufficient MRHB should go away. The whole thing is it's a Web 3.0 development. It all synchronizes very quickly, so it needs to make sure, like it needs to see that your trust wallet has the MRHB for it to be able to acknowledge that it could be put into LP. For some reason, it's one, either is you're adding too much MRHB into the amount, and that's why it's not showing up, or B, the tokens have not been imported correctly, so you have to import it correctly. It could be either one of these things. Watch the guide; hopefully, it'll give you more answers.
Awesome. And final question was from Mudasi Mohammed. I have two questions. Is LP halal on Pancake Swap? And second question, you have shown the procedure on how to add liquidity, but how are we going to earn from it? Which I think you speak about earlier in this, but I'll let you earlier in this episode, but I'll let you summarize that again.
Yeah, for sure. So liquidity providing is a requirement of every single project. You need to have liquidity in the system for there to be an ecosystem to work. LP is permissible as a technical aspect. There's no issue with providing liquidity in anywhere, but the issue comes in as in regards to the reward. So what are you providing the liquidity for? Are you providing it for transactions? So that's fine. There's no issue with transactions. But are you providing it for leverage or lending and borrowing or for margin trading? So that's unpermissible because that's directly linked with riba. And are you providing it for future trades? So that's linked with derivatives. So that's also an issue. As long as it's transaction or if it's a gift, sometimes you'll see certain platforms give back governance tokens, or they give back some extra token as a gift, not as a lending and borrowing thing, but more as a form of thank you for supporting us. That's something different. So when it comes to our LP, we have made sure that everything that is coming in from PancakeSwap is only rewards and is only transaction. Sorry, it's only transaction rewards. So it's nothing to do with lending, borrowing, and all that stuff. The second aspect of this is you have to make sure that the token that you're providing LP for is permissible, and the pool itself is permissible, and the methodology you're doing it through is permissible. For us, we've made sure all of those things are clean, and that's why we've showed people that they can do LP through us.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I will say that the video I did with the Mufti, which will be released a few days after this, it actually does go into this a little bit more detail. Is LP halal on Pancake Swap and whatnot. And Ahmed spoke at length around how we're going to earn from it, right? So add liquidity. I think last time I checked, Ahmed, it was like 46% APY just from the providing liquidity. And then earlier in the video, Ahmed obviously mentioned around farming. So then when you provide liquidity, you get like LP tokens, which is like your receipt. and then you take your receipt and then you invest that into the website that Ahmed spoke of to, obviously increase those. So I think that pretty much covers that question.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and when you want to take your liquidity out, you just take it out of our website first. You take your rewards, then you go to Pancake Swap, and then you stop providing liquidity there, and you take the rewards from there too. So it's like,
You just do it
I
in
mean, this is
reverse.
probably the
Yeah,
best.
just do it backwards. Yeah.
Yeah, just do it back. I mean, this is probably the best amount of rewards that I've seen in passive income for some time. I mean, looking at real estate, I'm going on a tangent here, but yeah, it's phenomenal. What could be done with all this stuff? Anywho, that kind of wraps up everything with the questions. Moby, I know you have a last little bit to do in regards to your TA and FA,
Yeah, you
so
guys,
for sure.
again, thank you so much. We would wrap it up, but we did make a promise, and I definitely I jumped in the Telegram group, and I'm like, hey guys, let me do some TA. So we had a couple of questions. I did have this question, so I'm going to share my screen. I did have this question by brother Nafis Razak. He said, Walaikum salam, brother. Love your shows. Technical analysis for Matic, please. Also, if you can touch on the use of trading bots, Jazakallah khair. Now, Ahmed actually did a really good video on trading bots a little while ago now, actually, a couple of months ago, which is still relevant. So I will go ahead and find that video, and I will share that in the description so you can find that there. But just in regards to Matic, before we sort of wrap this up, so let me kind of go onto my chart. I've got the Matic tether chart here. Now, let's sort of start zoomed out, right? Let's kind of zoom out a little bit, and let's kind of look at what the trend is right now. Now, I'm going to start first with Bollinger Bands, right? And I'll explain why I'm doing that. So let me get my BB out there. Now, Bollinger Bands, you can sort of see here these bands that have created. And what that kind of does, it shows all the data within 2 standard deviations of the price. Now, what does that all mean? Well, essentially, it's showing us volatility. And when the bands are further apart, like you can sort of see now, it shows more volatility. And towards the end of a trend, you will see a trend moving into higher volatility and then a potential reversal. So why am I mentioning all that? Well, if you kind of break it down, we are in this upper band, as you can sort of see here, which does imply a healthy trend. So as long as we're sort of above this moving average, we're still in a very healthy trend. Now, if I open up the MACD, I'll get rid of my Bollinger Bands for a second. Get rid of that. And you can see here we're well above the 21-day moving average as well. So that is still quite bullish from a longer term point of view. If I bring up the MACD, you'll see some other indicators, right? And like I mentioned earlier in this episode, and Ahmed, this is something Ahmed agrees with as well. When you look at TA, you look at multiple indicators. You look at multiple things together, not just any one given thing. Now, on the MACD, you can sort of see here that we are crossing the signal line, which is the red line. It has crossed the blue line, which is the MACD, which generally implies that a downward trend is coming. Now, what I will say here, and again, the other thing as well, brother Nafis, if you kind of look at the candles, the Japanese candles here, I've got Heiken and Shi candles on. You can see I've got these 3 spinning tops here, right? You've got these 1, 2, 3. They call them spinning tops, and if you're looking at my screen, you can sort of see why, right? They almost look like these, spinning tops. Technically, what we sort of say is when you do see spinning tops, they can often precede a trend reversal. You can often see in this case, a downturn trend. So if I consider all of these, long-term, yes, Matic is in a healthy upward trend, but I would expect a downturn in price. I would expect a retracement of some sorts after this big kind of level. Again, I don't know what price you bought into, but if I do, the last thing I sort of want to show before I end the segment is the Fibonacci, because I did this a little bit earlier and I found something really, really interesting. Bring this here, get my tool. So let's take this down point here. We go all the way to the high. And I love Fibonacci when the pattern just aligns. Like it just aligns perfectly. So all the way from that down point here, all the way to our local high here, you can see here this 24% retracement level. And this is the day chart. We've hit this like almost textbook again and again, like 5 days, 5-6 days in a row. That's also served as a line of resistance as well. So I can see here, like this point here, the 24% retracement level, it gives us a target, an entry target of $2.38, right? Currently, we're sitting at about $2.50. But me personally, I would, again, I don't know where you've bought in. I think it's not a bad idea to buy in at 238, but also buying a bigger position at 205. One thing that I've been doing, and I did this in a recent video, in our render video, if you've seen that's on this channel as well, is I've been backtesting for certain coins what happens when we go into overbought territory on the RSI. So what do I mean by that? If you look here, anything above 80 or 70 on the RSI here and also here, that implies overbought, right? That means, too many people have bought. And what I've sort of noticed in the last 2 times that we've done this, every time we hit in overbought territory, if I go here, we've retraced around, anywhere from about, 20 to 30%. So if I go here, we retraced a lot more actually. We retraced around, 32%. So if you kind of take that rule again, if you sort of say, okay, let's look at our high here. If I go down to the 38% retracement level, that's 30% as well. So it's kind of in line with our last few dips after hitting local highs. So me personally, if you want to get in, if you have FOMO, we'll call it our FOMO entry price. $2.38 is not a bad target, but I would have a bigger buy order at 205. Finally, one thing I will sort of end with from a fundamental point of view is Polygon is bullish. Polygon is really, really strong. Recently, if you guys have been following the news, Polygon has integrated with Uniswap, Aave, and OpenSea. Now, Uniswap, this is a very, very, very big deal. So as we all know, Ethereum gas fees are crazy. And, what protocols and platforms are using Matic for is to lower gas fees, right? To essentially lower gas fees and transactions. Now, the fact that Uniswap has partnered with Matic is huge. Uniswap was the first DEX ever, not just on Ethereum, ever, that's ever launched. It is the top 2 or 3, I guess, biggest Ethereum burners. This is absolutely huge, bullish for Matic and bullish for Ethereum as well. It is the number 1 layer 2 on Matic, and personally, I'm a huge fan. So from a fundamental point of view, it's strong. It also, if you watch my earlier segment in this show, it hit my honorable mentions for 2022. And also from a price action point of view, you have a couple of entry points coming in at $2.38 and also $2.05. So I hope that was helpful. We did have another question about eGold. I don't have time for that today. Inshallah, we'll answer that question next week. And guys, again, thanks for your patience. Hope you use the chapter links because I know there's a lot in this. And I'll kick it over to you, Ahmed, because it's almost 1 o'clock here and I'm ready to go to bed, man.
No, I think we're just gonna wrap it up. I want to thank everybody, guys. We are growing on this YouTube, and I saw that we have I think 43 comments. I know we did say 100. So because I do believe in not participation reward but actual reward. So this token is still up for grabs. It's right here. This token is still up for grabs. What we'll do here, we'll do one thing because I do want to. The person who won last time, please do send me a DM or send me a message or something because I'm still waiting for you to send it. And if you don't send it, then we're gonna have to kind of shift the reward to somebody else because I have to give that reward away. It's like it's there, it's sitting, and I need to give it away to somebody. So please do DM me, and I will send you that reward. Second thing is for this token to be shipped out to you, we're gonna change one thing up. Okay. The thing is that we want to do 100 likes. So what I'll do is, if I get 100 likes on that, because we got more likes this video, on the next, last video. So in this video, if I get 100 likes, somebody from the comments section, from whoever comments, will win this token. And then obviously you can reach out to us, send us your addresses, we'll send you everything from there. But let's change it from comments to likes, okay? But you're gonna also have to comment because we don't know who likes. Like we don't get the notification as who is the person liking your stuff. So we won't ever be able to see your name. So we'll keep it at 100 because you guys are liking more than you guys are commenting. So at least 100 likes. If we hit the 100 like part, we will give one person from the comment section one of these tokens. So inshallah, that's the for the next for this video. That's what the goal is. Let's do this, guys, because We want to grow, we want to engage. Share this with all your friends. Honestly, put it on social media, put it on your YouTube, sorry, your Facebook, your Instagram, your Pinterest, your, I don't know. Just take a picture and put it up on your local bus stop. Do whatever you gotta do. But yeah, share us, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification for bell notification icon for notifications and stuff, and keep engaging with us. Check us out on our other social medias. Check us out on our Telegram. Ask us all the questions on Telegram. There's a lot of discussion happening on Telegram on a daily basis. So join us there and enjoy those conversations. As always, take care of yourself. Happy New Year's. And hopefully the upcoming new year is filled with a lot of happiness and success for yourself and for ourselves. Inshallah. Take care.
Inshallah. See you next week,
Assalamu alaikum.
guys. Assalamu alaikum.